Welcome to my stream. It has been a while. Alright, everything kind of looks good. Let's wait for some people to get in here. What time is it in America right now? Time in San Diego. Oh, it's 9 p.m. on Sunday. I see. Hello, welcome. Welcome to my stream. I know it's been a while. I moved to Hong Kong. Yeah, this is the Tiny Corp office here. You know, if you see me on Twitter, you know, I've been pretty disillusioned with the American empire. You know, I don't want to be in town for the stupid fucking election. I just like, you know, look, I'm not like I'm a real centrist politically. My take is that I want a stable set of unchanging rules that I can function under. Like every businessman, all I want is stability. Which candidate brings more stability? That is really unknown. Alright, so I'm using Brave here as my other browser. Let's disable, can we disable all this crap? I don't want any of this crap. Open the new tab page. Okay, how do I make the new tab page blank? Oh my god, Brave Rewards? What is this shit? Leo? Is this some I don't want any Web3. I'm gonna regret using Brave already. I can tell I'm gonna regret this garbage. You know, I like Brandon Ike. You know what? They have a token. Why am I using a browser that comes with a token? Well, we're gonna deal with it, but you're gonna hear me complain because listen, whenever someone DMs me and they're like, "Oh, I have a token," or like you can also just DM me, "I am a loser and a sellout." Right? Like it's the same. You're saying the same thing, man. All right. Why do you constantly rewrite shit all the time instead of releasing something and being relevant? Oh no, I can be relevant for a 3-month hype cycle like a token. Or do you want to build something that's gonna last 10 years? Right? I think this tweet was underappreciated. You want to talk about the real reason for the fertility crisis? It's that nobody has a 30-year time horizon anymore, right? Like kids just don't pay themselves back. Let's get Firefox and uBlock. Well, yeah, I use Firefox and uBlock as my main browser, but I have like a main browser and a streaming browser. It's not 9 p.m. here in Hong Kong. It's actually 12 p.m. here in Hong Kong, as you can see from the upper corner of my screen. Oh no, actually maybe you can't. Oh, you can't. I have to, my screen is 4K and we're gonna have to downscale it here to fit my entire screen. Okay, good. Sorry for moving everything around. We're getting a new streaming setup going here. Yeah, no, I moved to Hong Kong. Wo Shui Chengwin. Timbudong. Butai Hao. Yeah. No, Mandarin. I don't know about Latin Canto. I'd really like to be able to speak Mandarin. I kind of like, as much as I retweeted the Robin Hanson thing about culture, it's like, you know, it might just be kind of over. Oh, don't be an American declinist. I mean, it's not like I'm a perpetual, you know, everything's doomed forever, but like things just really don't look good. You know, you have all sorts of problems that really look like problems that are reminiscent of the Soviet Empire, most recently, or that's why everyone's so obsessed with the Roman Empire. The CCP watching. Alright, look, I'll tell you guys right now my honest take on the CCP. Like, and I'm not like this is Hong Kong. Like, I maybe I'm not allowed to criticize the government, but like I told you what I'm interested in. I'm interested in business stability. Uh, so yeah, I mean, what does it mean when the Chinese Communist Party embraces capitalism more than the United States, right? Like, you want to talk about what I respect? We did a pop up in Hong Kong, and look, I'm not married to the place, and you can watch all my historical stuff with the CCP. I'm not saying anything different just because I'm here. Where is No, I don't want per person. Per person's less important than you think. Here we go. No, this is. Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm using Brave Search, which sucks. Google sucks too, but marginally less. Per source. Electricity production data. Breakdown by country's terawatt hour. Can we see this as a chart? No, that's picture. Oh, this isn't our world in data. Can I see it from our world in data? World article database? Why is Google so broken? Share of electricity generated by low carbon. Oh my god. Data Explorer. Access to energy, energy mix, renewable energy. I found this no problem last night. Why is it so hard? Does someone just want to link it? Per capita electricity generation. Yeah, no, I didn't. I retweeted it. Electricity generation. Here we go. Chart. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. So, as you can see here, the United States is doing phenomenally well. Look at the United States compared to everybody else. India's growing a little, but they're not going to come catch America until you enable China. Like, this is what I respect. I don't care if you call yourselves a communist or a capitalist. Basically, I'm here, to produce value. Don't fuck with me. And, I want to live in a rich society. Yeah. So, here you go again. The US has an interesting lead in software. And a lot of the reason for this is software is pretty... the US basically, brain drains the world, right? You can go to any American software company and you look. And there's a lot of Chinese people, a lot of Indian people, right? And, the US has done a historically great job of this. Immigration in the US now is an absolute joke. Right? It's I don't care. The idea that you should have an uncontrolled southern border where anybody who has the balls to come in can come in is the stupidest selection function I've ever heard. It's beyond stupid. I don't care if you're left leaning or right leaning. It's just the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. And that's the American immigration policy. And when I want to bring in engineers to work at Tiny Corp, well, that visa's been declined. Okay, okay. You know what? I'm like, if that's the rules, I'm like, this is rigged. Right? Like it's just it makes any sensible person just not want to play the game anymore. And yeah, unless something majorly changes. Look, I understand why Elon's investing all the money. Right? I saw Elon's America PAC. Elon thinks he can fix it, right? Which is kind of crazy, but I think it's gotten to the point where it's really hard for a normal person to ignore now. And I'm not siding with either candidate. I think that the whole process is like, I mean, here's the real. I don't know how I'm gonna find that. I tweeted that picture about. Let's try if I see if I can find it. ResearchGate, 2003 lifetime value production consumption. Person? I don't know. This is so good. I posted on my Twitter. Does someone want to get it? Can someone get it and post it in chat? China's literally falling apart right now? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. It looks like America's been, stagnant since 9/11. I don't know if China already won the game. I think that, if China's where the party's moving to, are you invited if you're not Han Chinese, right? I haven't heard an answer to that question. Yeah, I mean, I don't. The truth is, I can say a lot about the American empire. I was raised there. I lived there my whole life. I can say a lot less about the Chinese empire. I don't really know. I mean, there's people who've lived there and people who have opinions on it. But I mean, all I will say with high certainty is that this data is not fake. Twitter's so slow. No. I don't want that one. I want the one about I want the one about the old people, right? I mean, this is the other major problem. And to be fair, China suffers from this somewhat too. Yeah, we can see it every day. It's not fake data, right? You're buying your drones, you're buying your phones. Yeah, this. I mean, what's also interesting is this shows the incredible, just to be honest, the incredible destructive nature of the medical industry, right? If you extend people's life 5 more years, I want you to just think about this area under the curve. Yeah. That was kind of old. It's a little more recent. Here we go. It's from the CIA. Well, that's Brazil. Wow, thanks, CIA. Salt Lake City. Why are these search engines so bad? Okay, why? I gotta change the default from Brave search. This is useless. Oh, God, this website, this page is offensive. Why am I even trying this browser? It just doesn't do what I want. I put Chromium back on. Search engine. Google. Yeah, okay, this. So, you know, you can kind of overlay this with that, right? And now let's, Nigeria population pyramid. All right. So, yeah. It's 2019. It's a little out of date. Can we get a more recent here? Demographics of Nigeria. Okay, 2020. All right. So I mean, is China's worse? But I think China has this problem too. Yeah. I mean, they definitely have the problem too. Look, I'm not saying that like, you know, China's the future. I'm kind of deciding which empire to bet on. People really have no idea what mainland China's like. So I've spent over a year of my life there. I don't know if this is something people know about me, but yeah. I used to, I lived in Shenzhen for a bit. Have I tried to do business there? Well, I haven't tried to start a business there, but most of our suppliers at Comma are Chinese. And I would rather, even if two suppliers are the same price, if you can choose the same price between an American supplier and a Chinese supplier, I'd rather the Chinese supplier. I find the Chinese supplier to be more honest and straightforward than the American supplier. How have I lived there without Mandarin? You know, you hang out with expats. And, I was there a long time ago. It was 10 years ago. If you're trying to do business there, you have the corruption inside track, and it sort of works. I mean, yeah, you know, there's an interesting saying about corruption, and it's like, you know, in Mexico, yeah, there's corruption. You got to bribe the guy, and bribes are maybe 30% of the project, right? So you know, for every dollar you spend, you got to spend 30% on bribes, right? In America, we don't have corruption. You know how we know we don't have corruption? For every dollar you spend on the project, you have to spend another 4, proving that the first dollar was not spent corruptly. That's right. No corruption in America. Is it easy to get a visa for China? Yeah, if you're an American. If you're Chinese, it's not your company anymore. Well, if you're American, is it your company? All right. What if America passes a wealth tax? Is it your company? I don't think it's your company in either place. No, I think there's definitely downsides to that. I think that again, what I'm interested in from a regime is long-term stability. Yeah, I spent 2 weeks biking around India. Not soon. Maybe someday, but not soon. Okay, so you go to prison for any infraction in China. So let's look at China, number of people in prison. So per capita. Okay, so the prison rate in China is 118 per 100,000. And then in America, it's 531 per 100,000. So all else being equal, you're more than 4 times likely to go to prison in America than you are in China. I'm talking about a business infraction if you don't pay the corrupt taxes. I don't know how much business you've done in America, but I promise you it's not better. From authoritarian countries. It's an interesting term. What makes you think that China's an authoritarian country and America's not? Who's not an authoritarian country? No, I mean, look, again, there's definitely criticisms, right? I don't think that, there's concern about the way the Jack Ma situation was handled. But, okay. So, we're there. That's my take on the election. I'm not endorsing a candidate. I'm just saying, I have so much respect for Elon for actually going out and trying to fix this shit. I'm not that bold of a person. That's good. All right, so what is Tinygrad? So Tinygrad is kind of like Tinygrad, if you've seen Tinygrad. Tinygrad is a subset of Tinygrad. And I have this little script called import from Tinygrad, and we import a set of things from Tinygrad that are just going to be the same. So I've basically ripped out the middleware. We can take a look. Let's check out master. Let's pull. I'll also check out this terminal. It's called Kitty. It's GPU accelerated. It's a little rough around the edges in some places, but it's fast. Like they care about the thing that you should care about in a terminal, which is when you press a key, how quickly does it? I was in Shenzhen 2 weekends ago. 80% of the cars are electric. The streets are so quiet. It's actually unbelievable. I don't mean to be a shill. I think that one thing that America really has going for it is that it is the land of opportunity, and that you can take someone like Elon who immigrated to America and built successful businesses there, and that alone is America. If America embraces that, America can be fine. The idea that people around the world want to come to America and build something there is the entire engine that's powered America for the last 200 years, and I see both political parties pissing it away, and it makes me so sad. I mean, there's nothing that really upsets me more than watching what's happened with immigration, where you let 1 million people without ID cross the border, and I want to bring in several very good coders and pay them 6-figure salaries, and I can't. Okay, so in 10, 20 years, when things play out the way they do, and people are asking why, everyone knew, right? I could have told you 10 years ago what was going to happen with Google too, right? It's all the same. It's so obvious. It's so obvious, but nobody can correct it. I think America has a better legal system. I would trust the American legal system, as bad as it is, more than I would trust the Chinese legal system. I would trust America to uphold the rule of law. Again, one of America's really good strengths. Another thing that you have some questions about, right? You see the, You look at the Trump case. You look at the Trump case, and it's just is this what this has become? This is never going to stop. Right? Every 2-bit party hack's going to be weaponizing the justice system against the other guy. That's the end of rule of law. No doubt, rule of law in the U.S. is declining. Yeah, I mean, these are the things. If you had a system where you had simple vetted immigration for people who wanted to come there and pay taxes, you had a strong commitment to rule of law. But the problem is, so many of these things are based on trust, are based on trust that you're not going to get rugged. And that's what America had going for a long time. And honestly, it's harder and harder to believe. Say the leader looks like Winnie the Pooh. Look, I'm a guest in their country. I don't want to upset them. There are some things that are, a little stupid, right? A little, in general, people who want to censor speech, it never ends up good for them. I think the UK is way worse. The UK is so far down the decline cycle. Like, there's still, am I renouncing my U.S. citizenship? No. Even though I have to pay taxes abroad, even though, the U.S. is the only country that if you're not a resident of the U.S., you still have to pay U.S. taxes. And then if you want to renounce your citizenship, thanks to Eduardo Saverin, well, I shouldn't say thanks to Eduardo Saverin, but after Eduardo Saverin, there's a 25% exit tax. And, you can look at U.S. renunciations over time. Again, these are really bad signals for your empire. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it. If you are in a swing state, well, I sure as hell know one group of people ain't gonna fix it. I'm not saying the other group of people's great, but one group of people's definitely not gonna fix it. All right, it's kind of like AMD with the drivers. In order to fix it, you first have to acknowledge there's a very serious problem. It starts with being there. I spent a lot of time there. Look, comma's still based in San Diego. We're still hiring people for San Diego. And look, I'm rooting for it. I want it to turn around. But there comes a point where you got to start to hedge. Yeah, we might be at that point. I'm not sure if we're at that point. But comma's hiring in San Diego. Just say vote Republican if that's what you believe. There's a lot about the Republicans that I really don't endorse. I've said this before on stream. It upsets people, but I'm sorry. I think that the pro-life stance is one of the absolute stupidest stances. Not even about what you believe. It's just not. It's not a good position. It's like being against gay marriage, right? Like it's not a good position. Don't. You shouldn't be doing that, right? You shouldn't be. Right? Because you just turn a lot of people off, right? You're against freedom, right? And you want to generally be pro freedom as much as possible. So yeah, it's hard to say that. I would. I've given my political endorsement, and if people like Robin Hanson and Brian Kaplan got together and started a political party, that is who I really endorse. We need the Lee Kuan Yew of America, but make it look less like a shopping mall. Lee Kuan Yew, but with a bit of grit. Unrealized capital gains tax will actually be the end of America. That's Francisco de Anconia and the copper mines, right? They want to reset and to build a world government. Yeah, but they look kind of pathetic now. They might want that. The George Soros people of the world might want that, but they just kind of look like clowns. I'm starting to agree more and more with China. Every tech bro to talk about politics should be jailed. Again, I think that you can choose between You can choose. I would rather live in a place with no political freedom and free exit than a place with political freedom and an unstable system. No, I'm not against it because it affects me. No, I'm a believer in the long-term prosperity of America, and it is that long-term prosperity that is not for me or my type of people, and the people who think that way, you're losers. You're real losers. Say the wrong thing in China and go to the gulag. I don't know about that. Agitate? Be a political agitator and go to the gulag? Well, there's a reason people want that. There's a reason people want systems like that, right? Robin Hanson is an economist, yeah. Listening to Twitch chatters talk about politics. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad. Microsoft 3 Mile Island restart. All right. Should we go subscriber only in code? I'll go to the bathroom first. Be right back. Okay. First, we're going to go subscriber only. Oh, we already did that. Great. Guy Ross, thank you. Good thinking. Okay. So, like I said, toonygrad is just a straight up import from Tinygrad, except we're not copying the code gen or the engine directory. And you can kind of see, I started it a little bit, but barely. So it's just a straight up copy of these files. And actually, you know what? We're just going to actually, we're going to delete toonygrad. Just so you guys can actually see how it works. And you're like, when I start from scratch. Okay. So we just have this script import from Tinygrad. I'm going to import a bunch of files from Tinygrad. Tensor, the main tensor function, which is the forward backwards. Helpers are just a bunch of like little helper things. dtype, which talks about dtypes. Device. Multi, which is multi-device, multi-GPU. The NN library, which is just optimizers. A bunch of like conv functions, data sets is CFAR and MNIST that we can look I'm particularly proud how beautiful and small that file is. So we can see it's tiny here. That's this data set, CVAR data set. State, so like safe tensor support. Ops, which are UOPs, where a lot of this UOP stuff lives. The symbolic pattern matcher. And let's commit this. Fresh import. You can follow along with Tinygrad on it's on Tinygrad's GitHub. Okay, so we'll start with the fact that we can import lazy buffer from engine. So let's create engine here. Let's create a file called lazy, and we have a class called lazy buffer. And there's an argument about what lazy buffer should actually be UOP. But so I'm just running beautiful mnist. This is beautiful mnist copied in from Tinygrad. It's in Tinygrad examples. So you can see it's a, how come I can't from Tinygrad import tensor? I don't know. But we don't have Tinygrad, now we don't have Tinygrad realize. So we're gonna need realize here. Realize.py. We need a function called run schedule. And we need a function called memory planner. We can get to what these things do in a minute. First, let's just create them. So we're basically rewriting all of Tinygrad's middleware in such a way that it's going to be friendly to the cloud service we're talking about. So yeah, we're building a cloud service. Okay, and we'll get what that is in a bit. Okay, cool. Cannot import tensor from Tinygrad. Unknown location. Did you mean tensor? I did not. But the reason for that is that we don't have a init file from Tinygrad. Tensor import tensor. That just lets you import Tinygrad.tensor. Okay, great. Type object lazy buffer has no attribute meta-op. Okay, so we're going to need an attribute on lazy buffer called meta-op. Class meta-op, meta-op. Okay, that looks like an op, shape, dtype, device. Actually, it's a static method. Okay, none type object has no attribute size. So what are we going to do about this op shape dtype device? Maybe we'll print the op. Maybe we should print them. I should probably be using something like Copilot to do that for me. Copilot could have done that. I don't know. I'm not big on using any of the AI coding stuff yet. O1 is the first one I've seen that could code it all. Okay, so we're creating empty of 1. So let's add a UOP. So UOPs are kind of like sources. And I'm probably going to want a shape tracker in here. So let's add a UOP called empty. Now, do we want empties to be unique? Downvote Twitch streams worse than USA. Why even do we need an empty? Like, empty doesn't make all that much sense. But I mean, I don't know. Let's try just returning a lazy buffer. I almost want the lazy buffer to be a subclass of UOP. And we can get into what UOP is in a bit. From Tinygrad ops import UOP. We need an op. we have one called buffer? Yeah, we have a knob called buffer. I don't know why it's still in there. I'm not sure. Is that used in Tinygrad? We should really read Tinygrad. Alright, let's just create a buffer. D-type. No sources. Well, maybe our source should be a shape tracker. So you read the docs if you want to understand what the shape tracker class does. Let me go bigger for you guys. So I guess our source for the buffer can be a shape tracker to UOP. That's right. All right, cool. And then no arc. Okay, cool. Okay. Lazy buffer object has no attribute size. Well, there's a way to get size here. So there's something here called full shape. Probably not exactly what we want. I'm gonna kind of need something called shape. We can totally put shape and size on UOP. So the idea is kind of that we're moving everything to UOP. Do you guys know what UOPs are, or do you want an introduction? The basic UOP is just an op, a D-type, a source, which is a bunch of UOPs and an arg. And you can pretty much define everything based on those. Tinygrad has moved a lot to be based around this pattern matcher, which will say things like, you know, if you have a UOP plus 0, it's just the UOP. If you have a UOP times 1, it's just the UOP. UOP divided by itself is 1, right? So these are just like pattern matching rules on the UOPs. So Tinygrad has this class called lazy buffer, which is not a UOP. Yeah, so we're probably gonna want some stuff added to UOPs. Maybe I'll add them to lazy and then we can move them later. Let's make a property called shape. Self. So where's full shape? I guess we want to assert. Okay, so we want all same. Assert all same. X dot source forever. If self dot op is uops dot shape tracker. I already have a helper function to actually get the shape tracker out. ST arc. Okay, we can actually just do. Oh, it's kind of annoying that I can't actually just run that on the shape tracker. shape object is a tuple of synths. Synths are symbolic integers, which can actually be a UOP itself, but it's not a big deal. So UOP synths. So here we'll just say we'll do a, actually this function, I think I have a helper function called unwrap that basically already does what I want. Yeah, unwrap, there we go. So we just want to assert if it's none, because some ops don't have a shape tracker. Some ops don't have a shape. So only shape trackers themselves have shapes. Does all same return something? I forget if it does. No, it doesn't. If self.source. No, it's like kind of okay if they don't. See what I'm writing? Does it make any sense? Okay, yeah, we want to filter out the ones that are none. Let's think about this for a minute. So you can like multiply by a const, and that's okay. Non shapes equals x for x in shapes if x is not none, assert length non-shapes greater than 0. That assert, that's just fine. Assert length non-shapes greater than 0 and all same non-shapes. Okay, cool. It still has no attribute size, but size is just, we have a helper called prod. You guys see what helpers is now, right? So let's just send return self.shape prod. Okay, cool. UOP has no attribute get shape. We actually have to put these on UOP, unfortunately, not on lazy buffer. We have this function called full shape. These UOP's getting kind of crazy. Shape tracker is not defined. STR should support shape tracker too, I think. We can also cache those properties. Cache that property. No, we don't. I don't like that there's not like a cache property there. Cache property's crappy anyway, but we want to like cache the return from that. I guess I could just make it a cache property and get rid of these. Because we don't want that, you know, this can, if without a cache there, that can be exponential. Okay. Lazy buffer object has no attribute buffer. Okay, that's good. We should add a to-do here. To-do handle reduce access. Is this stuff making sense? Like, do you see what we're doing? We're rewriting the whole middle part of Tinygrad. You can read the equivalent class in Tinygrad, and that's like kind of where it you'll understand why I want to do this refactor. You should, if you're trying to follow along on this stream, how many people we got? How many people we got? 338 viewers. If you're trying to follow along, I recommend looking up what UOPs actually are. And watching them on and looking at what they do in Tinygrad, because it's the same UOP that's here. You want a little demo? Show you a little demo of UOPs. Let me move my face up here. You can see a demo of UOPs. Let's just do it in Tinygrad. Okay. So from tinygrad.ops import UOP UOPs. Okay. So UOP, let's say I can create like a UOP const, right? We also need dtypes. So from tinygrad.dtype, import dtypes. Okay. So we have a function called UOP const. You can look at what it is here in Tinygrad because it's the same thing. So const takes a dtype and then a const type. So I can create like an integer, call it A. And let's make another integer. Call it 5. Okay, and I can do A plus B, right? So A plus B, and then, we actually want to get a value of A plus B. Well, I can do int A plus B and get 7, right? We can also do bool A plus B and get an error because it's not a Boolean. But if I were to do something like A plus B less than 9, right, so we have comp LT less than, all right, we can do Boolean on that. Is A plus B less than 9? Yeah, cool, great. So that's what UOPs are. UOPs are kind of a symbolic like you can like track stuff in them. All right, A plus B times 2. There we go. All right, because the 2's the same. It's like that. Great. Okay. Everyone understands what UOPs are now. I'm glad you're all paying attention. There's a lot of people in here right now. Where's all the people at? Were more people in here for the US-China shit? Or am I just not picking a good time? It's kind of been weird to be on this time zone. Okay. Lazy buffer has no attribute buffer. Oh, it's 1 a.m. EST. It's late for you guys. Is it a good time in Europe? What time is it in Europe? Where are my subscribers? Where are my viewers even from? It's been a while since I streamed. I'm 35 now. Oh, good. Europe will wake up soon. Thank you. You really start thinking about being an adult. Tinycorp's going pretty well. We've sold like 60 tiny boxes. Well, it's not bad, you know. We're gonna, for our second year in business, we're gonna break $1 million revenue. We'll break $1 million revenue this year, which is cool. Let's spend a minute and chill for tiny boxes. Oh, I'm never using Brave again. We also launched the Tinybox Pro. We got 11 pre-orders for it. I'm looking for 9 more. It's 8 4090s in a box. If you're waiting for the 5090, here's what I'll tell you. The 5090 is going to be about 1.8x better than the 4090, which is good, and it's going to cost 1.8x more. Because as Jensen loves to remind you, Moore's law is dead, which is actually a lie. Jensen just increases his profit margin every time because everyone else is so fucking stupid. You know? Just like, don't get me started on AMD. But actually, talking about getting started on AMD, we're starting. Nimmelgen works at Tinycorp, and we're starting just a user space driver. We're gonna rip out the driver. I mean, the driver's shitty. So this is like mapping the PCIe regions direct on the device. We will just literally poke the registers on the thing because the driver has race conditions. The AMD, my understanding now is that the problem is not actually in the hardware, and it's not actually in the areas of the firmware that we touch. The instability in AMD GPUs comes from the driver. The driver supports a lot of advanced features that you just do not need. I mean, the biggest thing the driver does is support like multi-users, and Tinygrad can handle multi-users at a different layer of abstraction. So we can just have, a single process basically own the GPU. Single user space process. This is driver and user space. Why is it called toonygrad? Because it's like Tinygrad, but I changed the vowels. It doesn't mean anything. All right. So lazy buffer has no attribute buffer. So this is only really used in one place, and this function's poorly written anyway. We do have to kind of address the buffer problem. So lazy buffer historically, the main difference between lazy buffer and UOP was that lazy buffer had this thing called buffer. All right, so let's just make a big class called buffers, and we'll make it a dict. We'll probably need some, maybe like a weak dict or something and match from lazy buffer to buffer, right? So from toonygrad, we also need that. Toonygrad, where's the buffer class? And device, import buffer. So it looks like buffer is a property. We'll make it a property. Buffer self assert self op equals buffer. Is that all fine? Does it still work? Okay, has no attribute allocate. So here we're going to create a buffer. This property returns buffer. Buffer sub. Oh, we have to keep the device on here too, so we'll put that in. The arg. Size. Actually, I don't even need that. I can just do self.size. Dtype, self.dtype. Anything else? No, nothing. Okay. So we'll say ret, and then so we'll also say if self in if buffers. Buffers dot get self none is not none return ret equals buffer sub self. Okay, cool. So it's just like a kind of cache property, and we're keeping all the buffers in that global dictionary. Seems right. These are going to be dangerous. These are going to be deduped if I don't add a counter to it. let's add a counter. Let's throw that there. Lazy ops are unique, so I'll show you something cool about them. So if I do like if I do like C equals A plus B, and I do D equals A plus B, so like C, D, and C equals D obviously works, but I can also do C is D. They're actually the same. They're actually the same Python object. So lazy buffers are unique unless you add something like that. List index out of range. Like my name of the device or something? Oh, it's a Python device. Oh. Alright, fine. I really shouldn't need that. Kind of cool. Okay, fine. We'll copy in Python too. Import from Tinygrad. Files. Ops Python is just like, it's like the Python device. I know that doesn't explain anything to you at all. But you can read the code. It's the Python runtime. You don't actually need Python program. That's actually just Python allocator. It's used for like testing and stuff too. But it's a fine device to copy in. It's very inoffensive. Make sure it doesn't depend on anything. Oh my god, it depends on all this crap. Never mind. I think I have those though. Fine. Beautiful list. Lazy buffer has no attribute sources. It's a good thing to address from back in the earlier chat where people were saying like, why do you not ship something and make an impact? Oh God. Well, I understand that this is what like so much of this has become. You don't make an impact. You don't. This is all. I don't know. We're not gonna go down this, but the idea of Tinygrad is to build something that's going to last for 10 or 20 years, and you're not going to build something that lasts for 10 or 20 years on top of abstractions that are shaky at all. You're going to get all the abstractions basically to be perfect, and once the abstractions are pretty much perfect, then we focus on getting adoption. The reason I'm doing this stream is, to get developers interested in this. And I think what you're going to find, if you spend some time diving into Tinygrad, do the tutorials, you'll find something that is, there's a few quirks still, but I want to, you guys know about Godel, like the book? Or who was that? Godel? Who's the Erdos? Erdos from the book. Erdos would talk about proofs being from the book. Often referred to the book in which God keeps the most elegant proof of each mathematical theorem. You don't have to believe in God, but you should believe in the book. What does a deep learning library from the book look like? We're inventing this new paradigm of compute, where in some ways, things are a lot simpler from the old one. The old one was very, very flexible, and I don't think we're going to need something so flexible going forward. And with that lack of flexibility, we get a lot of ability to optimize. We also get the ability to make computers very stable. Computers, due to their like generic complexity, have been kind of unstable. Like, why doesn't technology just work? Del ret dot sources. Let's just throw a fake. Let's get that now. That kind of shouldn't be there. Do I even actually need that? Oh, that's just because it's how we keep track of things being realized. We might need the NPY device too if we want to import from NumPy. Okay. Lazy buffer object has no attribute device. Yeah, remove target completeness. That's pretty much the idea. So let's do the same thing we did basically for device. If we have a buffer, the buffer has a device, and it's just let's make it the first arg. Just this logic again. We probably genericize it. It's not. It's called get device. It's the same basic idea. If you're accessing the device as something, it has to track back to something that has the device. Things have to be on the same device. So on and so forth. Like copy will change the device. Oh, I guess I never really returned none, but I should. Just copied shit. Or some like special thing for the property. But you see what I mean? Like a device inherits from the parent, a shape inherits from the parent, and then like here we'll have something like to do handle copy, right? Because copy can change the device. So basically UOPs are OP and everything should just be a UOP. Yeah, pretty much. Oh. Maybe we'll take a minute and we'll demonstrate viz. So like, let's just do a gem here. So this is viz. Maybe this is a better way to show you what UOPs are. So this is viz, and you can see this is the kernel here. So you can see, let me disable the tensor cores. Tensor cores just make it a little more complicated. Okay, cool. So you see, this is oh yeah, wow, we haven't shown this off. Quaslin's been working on this. This is a visualizer of what's going on. So you can see this is a matrix multiply here. So we have buffer 0, buffer 1, buffer 2, We are multiplying them, and then we're reducing them across this axis. It's a little bit optimized. Actually, we'll turn off optimizations too. Make this really easy to see. Yeah, so this is, you know, a 64 by 64 gem, load, mul, add. And this is live in Tinygrad. You can just do phys equals 1 and you can see this. It's still a little rough around the edges, but it's getting a lot better. Okay, cool. And then this is here is the generated code for that kernel. Sorry if I'm in the way. I'm in the way. Yeah. So this is the generated code for the map mul. So you can watch here. Let's go back to this one. So these are like shape trackers, but you can see that shape trackers are rewritten by ops. So this is the GIDX from the GPU. This is a range, which is going to become a for loop over here. And then those things are added together. You know, it's multiplied to form the index. We're going to expand that one too. You can see that the ranges are deduped across the two things. Oh, if this doesn't sell you on Tinygrad, man. Like, and all of the stuff, like everything that's a UOP can be expressed in this framework and can use this. And then like you just see like the rewrite rules being applied. So you can see that reduce access becomes reduce across that range. What happens there? Oh yeah, we lower the shape tracker of store. That's lower. Okay, now let's go through what happens here. So you can see that this is adding a 0, so that's just going to go away. I think we're multiplying by a 1 there, so that's going to go away. Right, just some little cleanups to the graph. Let's go through this one now. This one rewrites pi ints to ints. Pi ints have infinite, they're just infinite with integers. Ints say that they're all going to fit in 32 bits. We rewrite the reduce to be a define ACC and an assign. Right, because you're like accumulating, so this is the ACC, it's the assign. I know what's happening here. Oh yeah, so instead of doing multiply by 64, we can do shift left 6. So this is like just strings reduction. And you can see over here, like this is the rule that's applied. The code for that rule, I can click here and it'll actually open Visual Studio Code if I want. So yeah, if that doesn't sell you on, like, I don't know. I'm kind of just like over trying to convince people of shit. Everyone's just screaming at the top of their lungs trying to convince people of things. Who else is just over it? Let's just build something better. The slow takeover of Tinygrad. I hope. I hope we build something good enough that it takes over, because it's not good enough yet. But, you know, unlike the thing about self-driving cars, we just built something that was way better. Except for Tesla, comma's way better than what the automakers have. And like, it's even arguably better than Tesla. Not for fancy high-end capabilities, but for like day-to-day usability. So, but you don't win, right? Maybe it's, you know, again, there has to be a point where you do win, right? If you just make it so unbelievably good, there has to be a point where you do win. But I think the switching cost for that industry is much higher than the switching cost for this industry. If we can build a machine learning framework that's better than what exists, a win. You know, it's an open project too. Anyone can contribute to this. We have bounties, bounties.tinygrad.org. It's also a transnational project. You know, we're kind of a remote company. You know, the bar is super high. The bar is absurdly high. If anybody comes in and says, "Can I have a remote job?" Well, why haven't you already contributed 10 high-quality pull requests, right? And then once you have, that's when we think about it, because that's what a job is, right? Show that you can do the job, but you didn't pay me for that one pull request. Yeah, okay, all right, bro. Like, we're interested in people who, you know, want to do this for years, right? We're not interested in people looking to extract value. You know, You want to come build the future of like, you know, you judge for yourself if you think we're gonna win. You know, is this jerk off functional programming garbage? Maybe. Or is this like a deep restructuring of compute that's actually going to work this time? And you know, there's a lot of biases to think that it doesn't work. All right, everyone is like, oh yeah, you know, and also it's also kind of an operating system when you think about it. Again, I'm not trying to. If someone tells you they're building an operating system and then they have a token, like, they should be laughed out of the room, right? I don't know. If someone tells you they're building an operating system, and I mean, I did one semester. I worked hard for one semester at CMU. I got an A in operating systems and compilers, right? So, you know, you can take me a little more seriously. You know, if someone says they're building an operating system and you ask them what's a mutex and they don't know, well, I wouldn't take them very seriously. But you can ask me, you know, anything you want to know about operating system, you can ask me in chat and we'll see if I know the answer or not. And then I can talk to you about how I'm building an operating system, and maybe you should believe me a little more. Tinygrad's also a compiler. Right, because it generates that code. It's also a GPU driver. You know, the idea is it's a really complete new stack for expressing all kinds of computation. But it's also a very familiar stack. The front end looks like Torch. I think Torch got that stuff almost exactly right. At least for like what modern neural networks looks like, and that stuff can evolve. We've already seen some like evolution. I think we have to work harder on making things like parallel scan work. You know, like optimized parallel scan. I think JAX is, you know, JAX is like a serious competitor. The future is probably going to be either Tinygrad or JAX, like the future library people are using to write all neural network stuff in. I mean, I wouldn't totally count PyTorch out, but PyTorch has to change a lot of the... PyTorch has to seriously be refactored. Now, it's not that they're not working on it, and they may succeed. PyTorch is betting on, like, Triton. Meta's chip is targeting Triton, which is a coherent strategy. It's a very coherent strategy. But it may just be too complex. You know, will they be able to reduce their complexity, or will Tinygrad be able to increase, you know, its speed? And if you're interested in getting started in Tinygrad development, we have a bunch of good first issues. These should be very approachable to smart new people. And yeah, some of them are just like our error messages for different tensor operations need to be like beautiful. So we're missing copy to device. Let's add a copy to device. I think this one's pretty easy. I think we just want to basically add copy here. We don't have a copy. It's a meta op right now. How does a scheduler rewrite this? No, I don't have that scheduler. It's X'd. X shouldn't have been done like that. It should be just... It's almost interesting to say that lazy buffer shouldn't subclass UOP, but that this should just, you know, be a UOP itself. Okay. So we want to copy the device. Just return UOP. UOPs.copy dtype self.dtype. Just copy the dtype. source is self, and the new device is copy to device should take an argument probably called device, and we'll just put it here in the argument. Okay, cool. So now it's a UI. Okay. Lazy buffer meta op takes 4 positional arguments, but 6 were given. Wow, that's so many. Let's see what's going on here. UOP has no attribute reshape. Aha. Okay, well that gets to something interesting. So we're going to have to put those on UOP as well. Okay. So we have something called swizzle. So we want to say shape tracker dot from shape self dot shape dot reshape, and I think swizzle just takes an arg. Let's see if we're doing this wrong right there. Swizzle. Don't change D type. Source is self. So tracker from shape shelf self dot shape reshape shape. Cool. Shape tracker is not defined. This is kind of annoying because shape tracker also kind of depends on this. Do this for now. Expand is also that. Just create another property called st shape. So expand is basically identical to this. That's not good. Expand arg new shape must have the same dimensions as self.shape. Oh. Yeah. STArg is also swizzle, right? Oh. What? Oh, I just wrote the wrong thing. What? I don't need that. Just ST is what I want. But we'll assert on it. We'll unwrap it, self.st. We permute as well, that's fine. And pad, we need pad. Those aren't args, these are just args. Expand is a shape, but that's an arg. I should probably just copy this from Lazy Gopher. Alright, shrink. These are the basic movement ops. Like all movement ops can kind of be defined with those. Okay, UOP has no attribute R, so that's a special helper. What's the argument for R? Op, no access. So we want to do I have reduce here? You almost don't want UOPs to have D-type. You could almost inherit D-type the same way you inherit shape and device, right? You should only have like changing ones. Nah, but every UOP has a D-type. Okay, that's fine. It's more fundamental. Source is self, and then the arg is access. So we'll make this reduce access. Oh, but there's two args for reduce access. You can see. So I have like the spec of them all down here. There's a spec. Reduce access. Yeah, it needs the first one to be binary ops. So I'll have like reduce ALU here. So the second one or the first one? I already forgot. The first one's got to be. Reduce ALU op access. All right. Okay, and that's because we didn't properly handle reduce access. Device is somehow returning an integer. Oh, because I called get shape. That was stupid. Call get device. All right. So they're not all the same. Device mismatch non devices. And that's because we didn't handle copy. If self.op is does anyone kind of understand this? Please understand this. UOP.cast takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given. Well, yeah, that should just be changed. That needs to just be changed. Okay, so this is cast. Stride is the last one of the movement ops that we didn't do. Oh, contiguous. I guess there's no harm in just adding it. It's going to be fun to put in the scheduler. Contiguous breaks the graph. Is realized. False. Index type. Class Tinygrad tensor not supported. What? It is tensor. Can I slice shit with a Tinygrad tensor? Because this is importing from Tinygrad secretly? Oh, look at that. I'm importing from Tinygrad. That's such a mistake. You gotta import from toonygrad. Alright. Cannot create tensor from UOP. That's a good one. Non-subscribers, would you like to speak? Do you have anything to say? So you can read what the equivalent of this is in Tinygrad. Hopefully, like, you're kind of understanding what this is doing. Let's see if we can fire up Viz and make it work. What version of Python are you supporting? Why do you care? Is that a byte shedding question? Oh. Because why doesn't this shit work? Oh, I guess we're not doing any rewriting. Yeah. Can I do noob explanation? This is a noob explanation. The old dict list and tuple from typing? What's the alternative? Oh, just use the built-ins? What version do I need to support that? I don't know. I think Tinygrad supports 3.8 now, but I'd be okay with moving to 3.10. Alright, that's trying to create... Why is that trying to create a tensor from a lazy op? Shouldn't be doing that. It's actually fine. Which makes you realize that this isn't lazy buffer, it's just UOP. Is Tinygrad an abstraction over different types of compute hardware? I mean, is Linux an abstraction over different types of compute hardware? Right? Like, there's a way you can view it like that. 3.9. Yeah, we still support 3.8. I don't know. We should just rip the band-aid off and switch to 3.10. Just like hard support, only 3.10. If someone puts together a beautiful PR for Tinygrad that says you can call it like Python 3.8 is over, then yeah, I'd be fine with that. Okay, well, so now we get into like some interesting things. So this actually shouldn't be a UOP. And this buffer just has to be that dict. Cool. Yeah. And then creating a tensor from a UOP is pretty much just going to be data equal, well, where do I create a tensor from a lazy buffer? Everywhere. They're all lazy buffers. Create tensor from UOP buffer. 159. Oh. UOP object has no attribute copy to device. Didn't I just create copy? Oh, because that has to be, yeah, that can't be there. Well, this is like putting everything on this class, which is like fine, I guess. We'll punt on that. Okay. UOP object has no attribute LBs. What are LBs? Oh, LBs are... stupid. Method object is not iterable. Yeah, fine. Okay, cool. We're up to create schedule with var, and we can remove all of this spam. Am I still around China? Yeah, I'm in Hong Kong. I'm in Hong Kong. We might set up something a lot more serious here. We're looking into like incorporating an entity. I don't know. You probably missed the beginning rant about the decline of the American empire. I'm mostly just happy to be out of the country during the stupid fucking election. There's a backdoor in XZ? No. Don't post security shit, who cares? It's all insecure. There's no security. Security was just made up so security companies can sell you security. No, I'm not voting. Voting is your consent to the system. I don't consent to the system. If I was in a swing state, I live in California. I don't consent to the system. If I was in a swing state, I would think about it. I would feel like I would do my choices are between not voting and voting Trump, right? Like I'm not voting for the regime. I'd have to heavily weigh those options. I didn't vote in 2020. I think it's just, I mean, it's a broken system. What I said on Twitter this morning was, I think that if you don't pay taxes, you shouldn't be allowed to vote, right? If you don't, like, young people are already excluded from voting, but if you're young and you pay taxes, congratulations, you can vote. And if you're old and take Social Security, I'm sorry, you can't vote, right? And that's mainly, like, people think, I'm saying some racist shit or whatever. I'm not. What I'm saying is, if you take government assistance, including Social Security, you're ineligible to vote. If you take more assistance then you contribute, right? Some people are tax contributors, and some people are overall cost to the system, right? You can't have people who are a cost to the system determine the system's future. Mitt Romney's 47% thing is like it's just absolutely right. They paid 40 years into that system. It's paid back to them. Yeah, whatever, man. Like, if Social Security is the third rail of American politics and it can't be touched, then I don't know if you've done those projections, but you pay into it your whole life. Well, I'm sorry. The people you voted for blew it on a Ponzi, and we don't have it anymore. I couldn't live in Singapore. Singapore is a shopping mall. That's nice. It's a nice shopping mall, but though I could. I'm much more open to Malaysia. I like that Malaysia is multiracial. I like that that speak English. Another good thing about Hong Kong. Yeah, the $47 payout. If Elon was running for president, I'd feel differently about it. I'd feel very supportive. I really admire what he's trying to do, and I hope it works. What about Australia? A lot of people don't know this, but I lived there for 4 years, and I'm actually a citizen. I don't know. I don't know that much about Australia, despite I lived there from when I was 2 to when I was 6. I lived by Brisbane. I lived in a city called Kira by Coolangatta. I don't really know where these things are, but I was there. My dad lived there. Kira Beach, Queensland, Australia. Yeah. Yeah. We were on Pacific Parade. One of these houses. Really beautiful. Good memories of my childhood. I've lived everywhere. I lived in Australia when I was a kid. I lived in China when I was in my early 20s. I don't know, where else have I lived? Nowhere. How many people out of 100 can speak any form of English? People can speak English enough. I don't know. Like I said, I lived in China and didn't speak Mandarin, so it's not like that big of a deal. Would I come back to Australia? Maybe. I could see a world. Like if America gets involved in like a stupid war, yeah. I think that's a world. Live in Vietnam? Vietnam is not multiracial. I really like the idea of like a you live in like a society with a strong like civil religion. That's just the Americanism in me. Have I been to the Nordics? Yeah. What do you mean? I've been to I've been to Norway. I've been to Sweden. I've been to Denmark. We did a bike trip up here. Went to Lithuania. Poland, Lithuania. Haven't been to these either. Upper Baltic states and Finland. I moved to Hong Kong because I can't compete with China if I have to pay people $600K a year. That's not why. I don't think the salaries are a problem. I think that it's very hard to bring in talented people from overseas to America, and it has nothing at all to do with salary. Like, you people are delusional. The Tinygrad uh, recruitment process is open to absolutely anybody. It is fair, meritocratic. I don't care if you're a dog. I would hire a dog. Probably couldn't get it a visa, but I would hire a dog. So yeah, that's the problem. I, I run two profitable companies. I founded two profitable companies in America. I've created 30 jobs, and the country doesn't make it easy for me to get visas. Are you kidding? I'll go somewhere else. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Yeah, America. Yeah, have an immigration policy and be politically have a merit-based immigration policy and be politically stable. I also Kamala Harris talks about a unrealized capital gains tax. Do you understand what that would do? Do you understand what that would do to founders of companies who are illiquid? It would basically force the state to own your company, right? It is state ownership of your company, because you have to sell the company. You either have to sell the company to bankers or investors, or straight up. I mean, when is the state just going to start taking unrealized capital gains in equity in the company, right? The minute something like that passes, I actually am renouncing my U.S. citizenship, and the party is really over. If an unrealized capital gains tax passes in America, then I'm renouncing. Like, that's just it. You can't. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. She went back on that. She's now more moderate. Yeah, the thing is, like, I do not trust. What is Kamala Harris, right? I don't think she's like. I don't think she's bad. I just don't really know like anything about the machine that runs her. I think it's an absolutely opaque system, right? Like, Trump might be a bit of a clown, but I don't think that there's a secret machine behind Trump. I think it's pretty much just Trump. So he might be yeah. What happens if your stock goes down after you've been taxed on it? Yeah, and I know California is proposing this as well. I think I am going to move out of California. It probably is unconstitutional, but that isn't really the problem, right? It may be ruled unconstitutional by a judge in 3 years, but the amount of chaos that it will have injected into the system in that meantime, like, I don't know. Never attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence, but I do think there are some very powerful actors, perhaps foreign, perhaps Chinese, perhaps Russian, perhaps whoever George Soros works for, that they're not. Again, I don't believe that America is a secret cabal of people in a room, but I do believe there are people who stand to profit more from the destruction of America. And again, once that becomes the majority. Once the majority of people stand to benefit more from the destruction of America, and once people, stand to benefit more from, once more than half of the voting public is on the take, it's over. That's like, I think, de Tocqueville. It's an old quote about democracy. Democracy works right up until the population realizes they can vote themselves more free shit. Yeah, it won't just mess up the wealthy. This is insane. That like the government, who has a $1 trillion budget deficit every year, is somehow talking about taxing billionaires. Like this is some kind of solution. Destruction of the U.S. is a necessity. It took the wrong path. It needs correction. What do you mean by destruction of the U.S.? All right, what does it look like? The most recent empire collapse in modern times is the Soviet Union, and you can look at what happened there. right? So we're gonna get like a shit strongman for 30 years. Like, that's not what I want, right? You know, I don't think Putin's a terrible person, but I wouldn't want to be ruled by Putin. Do I think China will eventually take over Taiwan? I'll go further than that. I think Taiwan will eventually vote to rejoin China. Yeah, that's the real truth. What's you have a right? No, I don't even think it's only way out, right? I don't know. I don't understand the nuance of Taiwanese politics that much. I did a bike trip around there, and my basic understanding was there's two political parties there. One that supports, a more, America loves the word independent, but a more American aligned China, a more American aligned Taiwan, and a more Chinese aligned Taiwan. My understanding is those are the two political parties there, and if the empires continue to go the way that they go, this will not be done violently. This will be done democratically. What happens to the semiconductor industry? The US starts buying semiconductors from China, if they'll sell them to us. Yeah. Right? Maybe they'll have sanctions against the most advanced ones, like we do to them. Watch how quick TSMC employees will get visas. Good. That's a good start. My understanding was that the plant in Arizona was delayed because they couldn't find labor. What? Anyone who wants from Taiwan should be, welcomed in America. Not anyone, but anyone who wants to come to America from Taiwan and work. I think you just need to say, I'm a Taiwanese citizen and I want to work. That's it. Can you confirm Hong Kong is cleaner than New York? What I will say is I have not felt remotely unsafe. I can walk around any part of this place alone during any time of the day and feel safe. And I can't say the same thing about New York. Have you ever been to Chongqing? No. I've been to mostly Shenzhen, Beijing, Shanghai. But a country is more than a big bazaar for business. It has culture and history, at least here in the EU. And maybe that's fine for Europeans, right? I think that my position is hopefully consistent with the long-term historical America as a country of immigrants, right? My great-grandparents were immigrants to America. I think that this should be available to everybody. My great-grandparents came to America and worked very hard. Have I met Bunny Huang? Yeah. Is CHIPS Act helping to bring foreign engineers? My understanding of the CHIPS Act is that it's 10% chips and 90% government grift. My understanding is that it includes DEI garbage. Are you kidding? You're going to sit here and talk about how you're making, sure that your employees are the right racial composition? And you think you're going to beat China? Are you fucking kidding me? This is it's gone beyond lunacy now. Right? This isn't some it's not a policy disagreement. It's at some point it's these people actively, are wishing for, and I think they actually really are. right? I think they actually actively are wishing for the, again, I'm not going to say failure, right? Like that's, they wouldn't use that term, and you shouldn't really use terms that they wouldn't use. But these people are against growth. These people are against, and I didn't really believe that they existed, but they do. There's people out there who think that like, like America is the root of all evil and should be destroyed. And these aren't people from foreign countries, right? You want to live in a foreign country and believe that, but these are people in America, right? And like I you know, if that's a sizable percentage of your country, what do you do? Cooked. Yeah, moving to USA somehow looks like not such a good idea right now. I don't blame you. Right? And why is the shit show right now? People are getting robbed at gunpoint at 5-star restaurants. Did you read that in the news, or have you seen that firsthand? I've been back to New York a bit, and like again, it's the same as, you know, I'm not going to deep Queens, I'm not going to the Bronx, but if I'm walking around the, you know, the East Village, I don't think anyone's robbing me at gunpoint. We can't just complain about things that ruin things like DEI. It'll never end. I mean, you know, yeah, you don't just complain about it. Like, try your best with your actions. And that's like, I try my best. Like, this is Tiny Corp's hiring process. Tiny Corp's hiring process doesn't ask you what your race is. Right? Tiny Corp's hiring process doesn't see you. Tiny Corp's hiring process doesn't discriminate. I think that discrimination is so stupid. It shouldn't even be like, you shouldn't even not discriminate based on race. You shouldn't even, why would you discriminate based on species? I don't even believe in discrimination between whether things are biological or silicon. Right? That's even more extreme. Right? You know, it's interesting. And that one is look, and I also don't think that like, you know, racists are necessarily bad people. Right? It's not something I agree with, but I do understand like where they're coming from, right? I can steelman their position. You know, you should always be able to steelman other people's position, right? And I can steelman like a humanist position as well, right? Someone who thinks that, you know, we need to have special protection for humans, you know, against the encroaching silicon hordes. I don't really believe that either. Explain a racist point of view. Okay. I don't know. Do we really want to sully the stream with this? You know, race is a very easy thing. It's interesting how, like, when you look at prison very quickly, you know, you go with the guys who are your race, right? The gangs are very, you know, racially based, and because it's just a very like natural base way of dividing people, right? I think, you know, in the absence of civilization, you're going to end up with something like racism. So, you know, if you really think that like civilization is over, you might adopt a more racist perspective. I do not think civilization is over. So yeah, I think that you know, we can live in a civilized society where we discriminate against people based on you know, who they are individually than based on what part of a collective racial group they're a part of, right? But race is like a shelling point when you have nothing else. So there you go. There's the steel man for the racist point of view. I'm also using a definite, like, you know, people also get into what the definitions of racism is. Some people say things like, you know, Aryan G. Racism is a psyop. I don't think it's a psyop. I think it's like a, you know, like a kind of shitty part of human nature, and it's like, again, it's what you kind of fall back on if I think that some countries I've been to, they've been xenophobic. Some countries I've been to, they haven't. You know, like, again, I don't think this is quite a controversial statement. You can, you know, and it's not that, like, you know, but Japan is more xenophobic than China, right? So it's just like, it's something I've experienced. It's not necessarily that one thing is bad, and I've loved my experiences traveling around in Japan, and many people there are very welcoming. But I would say, on a whole, in aggregate, that's a true statement. Thoughts on Israel? Oh, that one's even more controversial, right? Uh, my basic thought about that whole situation is that it's a 2,000-year-old religious conflict. I saw a graphic that I think described it super well, and it was like, it was a picture of the Iron Dome shooting down Hamas missiles, and the Iron Dome missiles were captioned American dollars, and then the Hamas missiles were also captioned somehow still American dollars, and I found that very funny. So my view is that we're not going to solve 2,000-year-old religious conflicts on Twitter, but I'd rather not pay for it. The stream was way better in sub only. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. But that's just a fact about me. I believe Jesus died for my sins. Quite literally has nothing to do with religion. How much does I'll go even further than that. I think in a lot of ways the understanding the divide between Democrats and Republicans helped me understand the divide between Protestants and Catholics. Right? Like, historically you hear that there used to be these like bloody wars between Protestants and Catholics, and you're like, what a joke. They believe 99% the same shit. But then you kind of understand it better once you see it play out in your home. Jesus was himself Jewish, absolutely. Yeah, you wrote reports that sound like they could have been written yesterday, but we're actually from when Rome was trying to keep the peace. I saw a tweet. It was like, Israel managed to run an exploding pager startup at a profit. What's your excuse? I have not been to Iran, and I have not been to Israel. I haven't traveled much around the region at all. When I say Jesus died for my sins, Jesus died for my sins. It means exactly what it means. I don't know if it means to me what it means to other Christians. I think that I believe in sort of a more personal relationship. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a good Christian. I'm a bad Christian, but I consider myself more of a Christian than anything else. More than an atheist. I'm a goddamn atheist. Alright. We got one-shotted by the ayahuasca. I've been spending too much time on Twitter lately. Why do you think he was a con man? I think that he taught a lot of great things. I think that I don't know. I mean, again, I maybe go to church, I'd say 3 times a year on average. A few things I really like about Christianity. The philosophy of really like turning the other cheek, and that you know, you cannot, you're not an absolute sinner. If you confess and if deep in your heart you repent for your sins, then you're going to be okay. I think those are nicer worldviews than other things I've heard, and I think that like I just went to the Rock Church in San Diego, and the pastor was talking basically about like you know in your heart if you're doing right by God or not, and yeah, I like that. It's and God knows, and don't sin. Be a good person. All right. You can be moral without religion. Oh, atheists. Oh. That's why you tip at restaurants. There we go. See, I like that. Wait, God is actually like real. Like you ask atheists where the universe came from, and they'll say some crap like the Big Bang, right? And it's like, no, you didn't hear my question, right? Like, I didn't ask what happened a long time ago. I asked where the universe came from. Well, there was like nothing, man, and then there was like a bang, and it was big. And like, if you believe in God, that's like believing in the flying spaghetti monster, man. That's just stupid. We're more enlightened than that. We went on the internet in the '90s and we discovered that religion was full of shit. And now we're atheists. And now we dogmatically believe that there's no God. Like, okay. What's my answer to where the universe came from? It was created by God. Where did God come from? I can't answer that question. That's God's problem. Right? You're asking me what religion is God? I don't know. Probably not an atheist. I accept Jesus is Jewish, of course. The only thing we can say is we don't know. Yeah, we don't really know. It's about having faith, and it makes sense to me that the universe was created by like a dude in the sky. I mean, a metaphorical dude in the sky, not like a literal a human-looking thing, but it's created by somebody. God is the reason you return your shopping cart at the mall. You see, that's the other thing about religion too. I want to live in a society, right? I like civilization, man. I don't know that much about Islam actually. I know a lot more about Judaism, just from the people I hang around. AI aligned by theists and AI aligned by atheists. Well, you know what? Here's a funny thing about atheism. It's kind of like libertarianism, right? It's not a new idea. Atheism it's probably an idea that's occurred to every single person ever. And yet, it seems to show up and then go away. Because there's something about atheism that just doesn't have staying power. So yeah, I think atheism is maladaptive. Islam is a better refactor of Christianity. Isn't that what Mormonism is? I heard that if I become a Mormon, I can have my own planet. China isn't religious, and even stayed atheist. I mean, I don't know that much about religious belief in China. I don't know. Actually, let's look that up. Do people in China believe in God? Yeah. I mean, it's Eastern. It's very different. I'm talking like, specifically when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about like a Western, a Western conception of a God versus a Western conception of atheism, right? I would not say that people in China who consider themselves atheist align very much with like the Richard Dawkins-esque atheism. I think that like when they say no religion, they kind of mean something else. I don't really know like that much about it. I know the basics of Buddhism. Yeah, no. When I talk about atheists, I mean specifically about internet atheists, the kind who I've encountered in my life, and the kind who I am closest to, and fear being mistaken for. So I must work very hard to separate myself from them. The Eastern Western concept of God is very different. Yeah, I understand that, and I think that like, yeah, if I thought about it if I meditated on the fact, I think I could like think more about what a sort of Buddhist understanding would be. I do think that the Buddhist philosophy has a lot of one of the coolest things I learned from Buddhist philosophy is this like, it's like you want things, right? And then in the Western world, you're really taught from a young age that the solution to wanting is getting. At least that's what I was taught. Like you want and then you get. Buddhism says basically like, no, it doesn't really work that way. You're gonna want and then you're gonna get, but that getting is only gonna lead to more wanting. All right, it's a classic. Like it's explained almost like a drug addiction. So of course, the solution to wanting is not getting. I'm not worried about being associated with Christians. No. What Christians would I be worried about associating with? Yeah, I was an atheist when I was younger. So I found God in my mid-20s. I hadn't really thought about it that much. My parents will tell you otherwise, but they're sort of atheist. I got my own Temple OS. Tinygrad's my Temple OS. Why don't I stream more often? We'll see how this one goes. I go through cycles. Jesus is cope, and there's no afterlife, and when you die, you become Terry Davis. Okay, that means we have to go back to subscriber only mode. You know how there's like Godwin's law when eventually chats become about Nazism. Well, my chat eventually becomes about Terry Davis, and once it's Terry Davis o'clock, we got to go back to subscriber only. But yeah, no. Overall, I think I can. It's very easy to coexist with the Buddhist worldview. It's a very inoffensive worldview. I feel similarly about Christianity. I feel Christianity is a pretty. Christianity also has a lot of branches, but I feel like sort of mainline. Non-extremist Christianity is very nice. But I guess that might be also true about all religions. So. But I'm a Christian because even if my parents weren't, my grandparents were Christians, my great-grandparents were Christians, and that's how you become a Christian. And my parents might even say they were. I don't even know. I shouldn't speak for them. Okay, you can't unpack a non-iterable non-type object. So let's just return that like that. Let's see if that works. Memory planner takes a positional argument. All right, now we're up to run schedule, and it has a keyword argument called do update stats, and it has an argument called schedule probably. Multiple, oh, schedule like that? Oh, because schedule with vars, okay, never mind. So that's gonna be schedule var vals, do update stats, all right. Great. Okay, well, my UOPs are not based enough, unfortunately. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Let's get rid of that base. Think I need it. No, it's just going to complain that it doesn't have realized. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, so that's a UOP. I don't want to get the buffer, so we have a solution to that. It's my stupid buffers. Sweet. It's a nice long error. But what's crazy is that's the key error. Okay. Because we didn't actually run anything or realize anything. There should also be a weak key dict. We should probably just do that now. We don't have a scheduler and we don't have a memory planner. So let's see what's in sched. Wow, that's a lot. Oh, well that's the, that makes sense. That's the optimizer. Maybe beautiful MNIST is a little aggressive. Maybe we should start with a simple test. Let's just create simple test. Okay. From Tinygrad, import tensor sub 2, tensor sub 3, plus b. Okay, well, we need to realize to get the buffer, and now we're only realizing 1. Ye. Iga. Jigga. Kind of beautiful, right? So that's the full understanding of the graph. And I'm not sure, is Viz gonna work? No, Viz doesn't work. Maybe we do a graph rewrite on it. Now let's make a sync. Can import things like graph rewrite. Sync equals graph rewrite sync. We also need a pattern matcher. Hey now, this is what dreams are made of. Okay, an empty pattern matcher, but that should still let us run Viz. Why doesn't Viz work? Why did we rewrite 0 graphs? We didn't. Oh no. It's trying to import kernel. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't import kernel. Kernel very bad. It's actually fixed in this is fixed. Kernel. No kernel. Why does that still have 0? It's trying to get kernel. Test. I'm gonna call it Billy, but then I realized that didn't make any sense. I love naming things Billy though. I don't understand. I rewrite the buffer. I rewrite the graph. You see me rewrite the graph? I rewrite the graph. Why doesn't that work? Rewrote 0 graphs and applied 0 rules. But no, rewrite the graph. Why doesn't this work? Oh, it's probably because like kernels.value. Called it test. Isn't that good enough? List index out of range. Okay. Oh. Maybe it's because I don't have Tinygrad's viz. Let's actually include the word Tinygrad. Wow, that's importing from, that should not import from that. Yeah, if you import from the wrong repo, things get bad. Add exit, path, dir name. How is it even calling viz? I don't even understand that, because that shouldn't be. Am I importing the wrong one? Isn't that working? I was checking here from. It's fine, that's fine. Those are just in. Putting the wrong ops. It's fine. My add exit. Oh, let's just add exit. Okay, maybe that's fine. Like, how is this? That rewrite's being called. It seems like this isn't being registered. How is that getting to Tinygrad? Oh. No usable devices. What? Okay, fine. Client equals 1. I don't understand exactly why I have to, but whatever. Okay. So the problem here is that there's no viz. Let's copy in viz. Yeah, we can't run Tinygrad's viz because this shit imports from Tinygrad. Okay. And this also sucks because this doesn't work. module named toonygrad codegen kernel. Oh, don't import that crap. Oh. Engine graph. That probably should not be imported from there. Colors. What about word wrap? It should be in helpers. Catch my lucky charms, they're magically delicious. Load kernels. Yeah, name equals none. Yeah. Name kernel is not defined. Yeah, we'll just leave kernel and we'll just make it kernel equals, what's a Python object that nobody's ever used? Just so it'll never accidentally be that thing. Type Billy. There we go, good. No one's ever used a Billy. What? It's a Billy? No, it can't be a Billy. How is K a kernel? Alright, fine. Why can't you be a Billy? Class kernel. There we go. Now it's a type. Great. Love it. Love it. Want a viz? No, we don't have a fav icon. We need a fav icon. Wait, what? Is it running Tinygrad? I thought this shit was fixed. No usable devices? Why is that happening? Okay, great. Great. Hey now. Hey now. Yay! Okay, so we make two Pythons that have the same. We copy them to Clang, we add them, and then we contiguous them. Sweet. All right, beautiful MNIST. Why is that unresponsive? By the way, I don't think it should actually open the browser. I think it should just print out the URL. It's kind of annoying when it opens the browser. Oh, that shit's in Viz. We also got to move Viz to the main thing. Why can't it draw that graph? But it's okay with drawing this graph. It's a nice looking graph. Who likes the graph? Buffer. I'm not sure the buffer should come from a shape tracker either. I think it has to. I mean, it has. I guess it has shape. I guess that meta ops has shape, so I don't know. Buffers probably shouldn't come from shape trackers though. We gotta give these new ones color. I don't know. Let's try something a little more fun. Oh, it's probably because it's doing all the RNG shit. And that's probably a massive, massive graph. Oh no, you know what it is? Oh, you know what it is? Coslin, you gotta fix this. The problem is there's some exponential thing, right? If you're doing the random, there's some exponential in the trackback. Yeah, unfortunately. Let's try zeros. You gotta have an exponential test in there. But overall, I hope you guys appreciate the beauty of Viz. Is this one gonna load? A lot of swizzle, a lot of buffers. Wow, that's a lot. No. Okay, we can go. Let's go crazy here. Go crazy. From tinygrad.nn.state import get parameters. Get parameters model. Or p in get parameters model. P dot replace. P dot. Let's just make it all ones. P dot shape. One tensor not defined. What? Oh, tensor dot ones. There we go. That can be drawn. Yeah, there's a problem with the forever back ones. The ones that are, but yeah. Alright, cool. Wow, Swizzle's kind of crazy. So we need rewrite rules for the swizzle. That's gonna condense all the swizzles down, right? So those are just all the shape tracker changes. But I think that we could condense them down. Cool. This is a better test. Okay, see, we're taking like max and add and all that kind of crap. All right, let's get the swizzle rewriter in there. Or maybe we can just write a swizzle rewriter. I think it's actually really simple. Okay. So, does everyone understand what swizzle does? Swizzle is like a shape tracker applier. So I believe that you guys are gonna love this. Oh, this is when it all comes together, man. This is when the rubber meets the road. So let's just put PM in there. And let's write our first pattern. UPAT. 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 UOPS. UOPS.swizzle. So now, if you have a stacked UOPS.swizzle name equals y well, let's just say, you know, S0, and this one we can call equals S1. Then we want to remake this with, so this is like a replace rule with one shape tracker. uops dot swizzle. S1.dtype, S0.source, S1.arg plus S2.arg. Whoa. Wait, what? How do we rewrite all those graphs? Only applied one rewrite rule. Oh, it generated all these stupid ones. That's the only one we care about. Alright, cool. So you'll see we did 111 rewrites, and it should have combined all the swizzles. Combine. Alright, we can just skip to the end here. See how the story ends up. Alright, cool. So you see there's like just swizzles here. And we probably don't even need some of them. Maybe we do. Oh, but yeah, these have strat 0. Okay. See? This visual should probably also have shape tracker nodes and not have a shape tracker arg like that. So it can dedupe them. Because otherwise they're just all being put in. Yeah, so this visual should have a shape tracker arg. That's a second arg. Something to change. The new graph app is so much cleaner. Yeah. Yeah. We're very happy with it. I mean, you can kind of see where this is all going, right? This is this needs to be rewritten in a better way, right? This can't be the renderer for this kind of stuff. But you see my rule which collapses the swizzles. And yeah, so those are movement ops. And you saw how, like, with the one rule, we were able to go from, you know, this complex monster down to this. What these ops are is just a bunch of rules determining like how to simplify things, right? So we're just determining if things are true or not. And those are like side effects of shape tracker addition. We determine what shape trackers we can add and what shape trackers we can't. But we should probably suppress them. We don't want our rewriter to be covered in the spam. Okay. So now we're gonna actually have to break this up into kernels. You see that's being reduced on those axes. Yeah. Those axes, it's pretty good. Wait. Maybe the random stuff's not the problem. That should just be called 3fry. I don't think any of that should be triggering. I don't even understand why that was necessary. Why is this necessary? What happens if I don't do that? Is the last one not draw? Oh, why is this so slow? Okay, maybe it's just really slow. Cool. But I think now, wow, that's kind of crazy. Oh, I mean, that's the downside to like the shape tracker stuff, because that's kind of crazy. What is it adding? Why is it adding all these buffers? Why is this thing so big? these things outside 3 fry? Like, there's 3 fry. Wow, there's so much stuff. Yeah, okay. I mean, there's just a lot of complexity. So we have randomness built in as well, but I bet we can clean that expression up a little bit. Like, it's fast. I guess it's just the visualizer that's slow. And we're visualizing the big graph there, so it's kind of a crazy one. So no, I take it back. The problem wasn't exponential. The problem was just there's a lot of crap. Cool. Should buffer have a shape tracker? I guess a shape is passed in. So maybe it should. Okay, we got to start actually thinking about how to realize this. And some of these rules are just going to be from the scheduler. Like that one. What does that even do? Or some of these consts? How can we have any consts? We gotta take a we gotta do a bit of an audit here. Yeah, some of these should be consts. Why is that doing that, by the way? Why do I have to write clang equals 1 there? Okay. No more printing that. Printing that was crazy. Let's print this. Yeah, I think consts. Yeah, most of these are consts. Okay. If op is metaops.const, import metaops. Then we don't actually have to create a buffer. What are we doing? That's only true for empty. It has a device? I have to put a const on a device? I don't actually think I do. I think I can just fix it there in tensor and knit. If data device what is that? Oh. Yeah, okay, that's kind of a different problem. We have to give consts a shape. We can give them a shape. And I have a shape. Be happy. you're not happy. God, device is none. I don't know, maybe I don't want to assert device is none. Maybe device can just be none. We're having a problem with our shapes here. Oh. There we go. No, didn't fix it. Why not? That's going to give you a shape. Oh, I think because that's probably not right. You probably have to expand. It doesn't actually work as a reshape. Oh, it's all that? Okay, never mind then. Fine, that won't work as a reshape. Oh. All same non shapes. Tinygrad actually shouldn't allow this. How is this happening? But for some reason, if I do this, it works. No? What'd I break? I mean, I could do the same thing where none shape is fine. Maybe I just want to do that. Not sure, maybe not. Assert X is not none. No, I can't do that because we're going to be able to reshape those. So what doesn't have a shape? And just a const 0. But that should be broadcasted. I don't really know why it's not. That doesn't make sense. Why is that not reshaped? I reshaped it. Oh, because maybe I can't. But didn't we just accept that it was all? If I do that. Okay. Assign shape mismatch. How is that UOPS const a thing? That's probably correct, so we can fix it from there. Perhaps max. Can I just write instant swizzle? We can write instant swizzle stacking. If we don't, it's just like really wasteful. God, I don't even write. I know. I could pass the method in and then do that. And yeah. Just because it's unreadable. If self.ops is uops swizzle, I'm gonna just say like base st equals st dot st arg else self dot st shape. No, but like it is kind of different because we want to actually destroy the one above it. That like won't be applied to this one. Can import shape tracker. Great. It's a lot more readable now. So I don't exactly understand how it's just being a const. Because it shouldn't be a const because I reshape it, which should make it a swizzle op. How is it just a const? Where's the reshape going? There's no null reshape. That stuff's not even supported. Literally just, that's swizzling a const. But how is it trying to add a const? That doesn't make any sense. Like there is no const object return in tensor. Oh. Because it's doing that below the tensor level. It's doing that at the function level. Yeah, it's that 0 there. The problem is it's calling that method, which would normally be fine. Okay. So we're just gonna have to support it then. Consts don't really need shape. I don't love that there's now implicit broadcasting. But that's just kind of being broadcasted, right? Which I guess we can do the same thing for device we did for so if it's const, we'll return none. Okay. Now it's trying to get the shape from there. It's trying to reshape none. Maybe reshape's the only method you can call none, or maybe if it's none, it's just clean this shit up. It's time. Great. Let's take a look at what we did. Great. Alright, I mean, that's a lot kind of nicer than adding them. I mean, even though adding them does work, that just looks a lot nicer. Great. Oh, and see, the consts are actually being automatically folded into there. Alright, so we multiply 0 times 1 and get that. And you multiply that times 1 and you get... I mean, that actually, if we have a swizzle on a const like that, we could just remove the swizzle and sort of allow this implicit broadcasting, which is fine. See, look here, we do a max with 0. The consts are automatically put in the thing. That's a reshape. Wait, those shapes don't match though. Those shapes are supposed to match. Did I do it backwards? I mean, we can also just write this as and let the folder go back to it. Those shapes match, those shapes match. So yeah, I guess there were just some bugs in the crap I was writing. It's like nicer to do it that way too. It's just 89 rewrites you kind of don't need, but whatever. Okay, now the shape should always match. All those shapes match. That reshape's fine. Cool. Okay. So now let's do stuff like reorder the swizzles and the binary ops. Do we want to move them down or do we want to move them up? I want to move them down. We can do both. Got so quiet in here. Yeah. Sometimes I want to move them up, sometimes I want to move them down. I don't think you can move them through reduces. Maybe I want to move them up. I don't know. I think we already have rules for this. Where do you have rules for this that I can just take? Oh yeah, we're rewriting. This is the big graph. The big graph. It's a big graph. Getting toony. I'll be back. Let me just write a quick rule to move swizzles up. Yeah, the goal is to restructure Tinygrad to be more like toonygrad. Like, we're kind of understanding what parts are preventing, like what parts still keep lazy buffer existing, and it's easy to mess with it in the new code base. I mean, toonygrad's not going to last forever. Tinygrad is just a temporary, fun thing. All right, so let's write a pattern matcher, pattern uops ALU. No, okay, we have a swizzle that has a source. That's an ALU. Name ALU. Name S. Lambda ALUS. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to move this swizzle before the ALU. So uops, uop ALU, ALU.dtype, uops.swizzle, x.dtype, x, s.arg, for x in ALU.source. And then ALU.arg. Should be right. Okay. So if we did that right, look at the final graph here. Yeah. So see how it moved the swizzles up? And it's good. They still have the same input. I think we can say any swizzle on a const we can just remove, except for ones that have a mask. Give these labels merge swizzle, swizzle before ALU, const plus maskless swizzle equals const. So we have swizzle and the source is there. We actually have a special helper for const. I can just say about cvar. See if all x dot views dot mask is none. Just x dot mask is none for x in s dot views. Else none. Okay, and if you return none in a pattern matcher, this tech is so powerful. Like, how nice is this shit? You can just like write these kind of things and like you see what they do. Who's a Tinygrad believer? I know I shouldn't have stupid const with the, okay, great. So like this is just, see? But now wait a second. Look at that. Look at that add there. 1 plus 1e minus 5. Surely we can just do that. So why don't we just import the symbolic pattern matcher from toonygrad.ops and add it? Which will automatically do things like fold those constants. Great. And there we go. Straight line. And now we won't be left with any, we can just do all that math right away. All right, so what's the basic pattern here? We add 1, do a max with 0. Oh, well, okay, no, some of this is stupid. Okay, hang on. We shouldn't be, I replace them with 1s. We shouldn't replace them with 1s. We should replace them with, this should be tensor.empty. And empty is fine to keep. Because they are buffers, right? Great. So this is the real graph. I just write this a little differently. I don't actually want a buffer to have a shape tracker like that. I want a buffer to have a size. And then we can reshape it to the shape. That more closely matches. Yeah. You want object has no object buffer. Oh, well, that sucks actually. That's not. Okay, and I guess it's a little crazy, but let's just go. So yeah, let's just stick it here. I mean, I don't think we have a choice. Access a buffer, you create it. I don't like the idea that that imports from buffer. That sucks. But I don't think I get a choice. Fine. can't even do that. Oh, it's actually only in type checking. Oh, that creates a buffer. Fine, I can import too. Alright, we'll have to figure out how to do this inheritance correctly, because this is not right. Assert self.ops equals buffer. Interesting. I'm just like, I haven't written this so many times now, it's like shape tracker object is not subscriptable. Yeah. Okay, self.size doesn't work. Oh, no, it's just not that anymore. It's that. Interesting. Okay. That's because we have to give that a different shape rule. Buffers have a shape. Just make them flat. Flatten the size. There we go. Does this stuff make sense to anybody? Is anybody following? Chat, I'm looking at you. We got buffers, so 64, it's buffer 18, buffer 19, buffer 15. Swizzle them. All right, we'll let non-subscribers talk. Do you guys see how this shit's MNIST? Is Tinygrad, like, I was hoping that the Tinygrad refactor would be like a good way for people to kind of understand this stuff. Like, this is using the Tinygrad infrastructure to write out like a graph. It does not make sense. Well, that's like your opinion, man. So my input data shouldn't be 0 either. Let me fix my input data in my example. You missed the streams. Okay, so like this is the input here. I don't know why there's a multiply there. Oh no, that's just the normal. Okay, that's a multiply. That's reasonable actually. So this is the input buffer. And then the first thing we do is we do a convolution. Which, remember, a convolution is really just a multiply and an add. Let me swizzle that new object. This is an expand. This is a bias. As we add a bias there. We do a max there, which is a ReLU. And then, interesting, that expand was actually pushed through those things. We don't want to push expands. Yeah, fun. And so this is kind of the basic idea. You know, you do that, you add your bias, do your max, do your mul. Right, a convolution. Yeah. And you can write out entire graphs like this. You can write out like your training graphs like this. And so much is now being done at this really high level. And the beauty of doing things at this high level is that you can save so much compute. Right? You can just realize that you're just adding, like you saw that there. Whereas like Torch, if you actually create a tensor full of zeros and a tensor full of like ones and you multiply them together, it'll actually happen. Whereas in Tinygrad, it just won't. Yeah, so that's the graph. Damn, this is good. Like we can see how each of those rewrites was happening. Blah, 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 blah. And that's like, this is what a neural network is in its most like pure form. And then the Tinygrad backend can actually take all this stuff and break it up into kernels and render it. Okay, so I think maybe now it's time to actually write this shit. Make it actually generate code and run some of these things. So notice how basically at every swizzle we're gonna have to create a kernel. I believe every swizzle gets a kernel created. But at the swizzles they're like kind of like breaking points. So we can do kind of like a reduce. We want to get the history of all of them up until there's more swizzles. Reduces also change the shape. So fun fact to know about reduces. We have the Tinygrad meeting, by the way. Meeting in an hour, 4 p.m. Hong Kong time. Why did I think it was 4:30? p.m. Hong Kong time. Okay, well, I'm bad at time. Top K when? Yeah, I saw people getting real excited about this kind of stuff where it just like injects like a what token to the thing. I mean, Tinygrad is like, you can play with the latest stuff. That's fine. It's a fun, usable library, right? Like, there's a difference between library development and using the library. But like, hopefully you guys understand the point of this. Imagine debugging in something that looks like this instead of debugging in Torch. This looks so much easier to me. What is the drink I'm drinking? That. I don't know what it is. It's just that. Let's see. I think that's cha. Is that cha? Well, so the thing about Chinese characters is like here, we can like break this one down. I think it's cha. Yeah. So yeah, they even here, they break it down for you here. So it has components. Like I didn't actually know that was the character for T, but I learned all about like stuff is so cool, like how Chinese characters work. So it's like that's Ren, and Ren is like the simplest character. Wait, what? No, it's not even like right. It doesn't even match that. I don't know why they put like a Xiao there, but I mean when you look at the character on here, you can see that it's grass, person, tree. Why does that one look weird? Oh, learning. That's je with the little hat on. I think that might be. Is that studying? Is that shui? No. That's study English to Chinese. Yeah, shui. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
学习
学习.
学习
I don't know what C means. Study. It's like. Yeah. No, cha is just tea. Yeah. Oh, this is green tea? Oh, what is green? I don't know green. No, come on. Like, give me like the one letter one. Oh, but it is. It's that. Opening Google Translate. Your de is just. This is just de, which is like a extra character. I don't know why they have this one here. Why are there three? Lu.
玉
They both mean green.
玉
Lui.
玉
Lui. That's what that is. Yeah, that's green. What's the top one? Green tea. Louis cha. Yeah, no, I'm learning Chinese. Gotta learn the language of our new empire, right? China number one. I didn't eat any lunch today. Alright, should we break up these kernels by swizzles? I actually wrote some code to do this. Maybe we can just steal it. Let's get started on the big graph. So this is what we call the big graph. So let's break schedule. No, we're going to need a pen kernel too. Any of that weird stuff though. I just do k.append base. That's good. And we want to break it on swizzles, I believe. What is that? It loads, it really loads, yeah. So every time there's a swizzle, no, okay, this is actually way more complicated than this. Okay, so we need swizzle. When we see a swizzle, that's going to create a kernel. And then we want to rewrite that swizzle. Okay, here's what we do. We're going to do graph rewrite, sync, break sched. And for the context, we're going to say something like sched equals new list. And then return sched. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna, when we see a swizzle, we want to append the source of the swizzle to the list, and then we return, I mean, we can return the swizzle without base.replace source that. So that's right. And then we got like the list of kernels that we scheduled. I don't even think those are right. I think we want to, I think schedule includes schedule item, and we'll have to get a schedule item out of this. Base.source is 0, out of range? What? How's it out of range? Every swizzle has to have a source. Oh, no, they don't. Because we rewrote them. Cool. So this is kind of what you see is just going to break. It's going to peel off one at a time. So like first we rewrite that one, then we rewrite that one, then that's a kernel, that's a kernel, that's a kernel, that's a kernel, so on and so forth, right? We consume the graph. Consume. And then we're left with the final one, which is a sync. So we probably have to add that one to the list too. Probably want to append that with a sync, and then here we can say sched equals this, sched dot append graph rewrite, because we want to include the last one too. Okay. So now we have a schedule. I guess kind of the problem is you'd have to like kind of create buffers and append kernel. You can create kernels when you do so. This is all like much more rudimentary than the real scheduler of Tinygrad. Tinygrad could be much shorter if written in Mandarin. That's a good point. Wait, I kind of love that idea. Right? Does it work? Like, how do I say swizzle? Bartending. Tune. Okay, that sounds good. What do you think? Python supports that kind of shit, right? Should we just make all the UOPs Chinese characters instead? Oh, what are you saying here? No, that's too traditional. The only one I know is that's Xiao, right? Wei Xiao, small gradient. That doesn't sound good. I only know that one. Ylang.org. Tian D How. Oh god, I know that one. Heaven, earth. Good. Oh, that means in. Je. Do I know that one? I don't know if I know that one. Fo? What happened to boo? Tiandi. How? Oh, Jai. Shy. What did I think? Is ja? It means in though. Heaven and earth. Is this good? Ma? Is good? How ma? Okay. The hell is this? Oh man, the moon with a hat on it. I know this one. Well, this is like almost readable. Love this. I'm working. I'm studying Chinese as fast as I can. Leo AI, that's the last thing I want. How do I like bookmark this? I don't know how the browser works. Okay. Wow, I'm really the sun. Re-sun. Oh, that just means day 3. What's the moon with the hat on it mean? It means to have, but I don't remember the word, right? Yue. Yue Yi. Don't know. On the 3rd day, name, that's Ming. Is Ming his name? The name of the day. What's this? For je. Oh, okay. Well, good. I guessed that right. I don't know what that means. First, Jia. The name of the day first. Okay. This is she, which means is. I don't know that. First, okay. So like there is first. So this is probably some kind of like for loop. What is this? Is this Yoon? Is this cloud? Okay, I see. When you it's cetera when you put 2 clouds together. That makes sense. Wow, are you guys impressed with how much Chinese characters I know? What does a swizzle UOP do? It applies a shape tracker to the previous thing. Di Hao Ji? Is it Ji? I always forget this one. Zai. Heaven, earth, good, exist. When Tian Di Hao Zai?
问天地好在，
When Tian Di Hao Zai?
问天地好在，
When Tian Di Hao Zai? I'm trying to get the tones right. Oh, when? That's Chinese for writing. Oh, when? I know when. I don't know yan. You have to feel it more? Normally I never do meetups because I don't want to talk about fucking computers. But if someone's in Hong Kong and wants to practice Mandarin, I'm interested. Once I get a little bit better. Are you sure? We don't want to do a rewrite in Chinese, guys. Are you sure? This code looks very complicated. Wow. Is this what happens when normal people look at programming? San, Si. Oh, Qi. They're prime numbers. Yi Xie Yi. Yi Xie San. Yi Xie. Qi 7. Qi Yi Xie Jiao. Does it realize a shape tracker? No, it doesn't realize a shape tracker. A swizzle literally just means apply the shape tracker to the buffer. That's all swizzle means. So like you can tell what it means more from the definition in ops. So like if you look at what reshape does, it just creates an empty shape, basically an empty shape tracker. I should move that one down there. It creates an empty shape tracker and then applies the shape to it. Oh, Tinygrad. Xiao, is that a Chinese character? Oh, wait, I love that. Tinygrad. Tinygrad. It's not a Chinese character, it's just a gradient symbol, but. Oh, that means lower. I know that weird B because they're in yin and yang. Shi Yi. Yes. Gradient descent. Okay, well I know that has something to do with tree because it has a tree subcharacter. Tree, what are they called? Component. Something writing. No, and also I want this to be not in, if it's in simplified Chinese. I don't know if Chinese. Oh, maybe that. I have to go in 10 minutes. We have the Tinygrad meeting, which you're actually all invited to. It's in the Discord. You can't talk if you're not a Tinygrad, but if you are a Tinygrad, you can talk and you can work your way up to talking. Ooh, Dway, how many? Zai. Woman mouth. Oh, Rue. That's if. So that one of the programming, but I don't remember it otherwise. Oh, I see. I can switch between simplified Chinese and traditional Chinese. There? Is that it? Tell me what on. Boomer.org. It's hard to come up with new words in Chinese since it's not a phonetic alphabet. Now, programming's over for this stream. I'm just gonna commit this. Call it consume. But yeah, I mean, this makes me very bullish on replacing. We can probably do this in Tinygrad. So what this is going to be, what toonygrad is kind of just an example. By the way, we're going to check how many lines it is. So it's 4,291. It's kind of an example of how we're going to eventually replace everything with UOPS. So I deleted lazy buffer here, and it's just UOPS. A message of love, perhaps. Outlook into the future. I don't know, guys. It looks bleak. It looks pretty bleak. I like. There's all sorts of ways to cope. I don't know. Maybe it's like not that bleak. Like maybe it's just like learn Chinese and like, find yourself a new like. Like really, we really have to have World War III because of some assholes. Like, it's kind of what it seems like, right? The question is, like, is the American regime? You just don't know, right? You just don't know if this thing is on the brink of collapse, if this thing is going to continue for another 20 years, if people are going to get into power and manage to root out the corruption and, make it good again, maybe even make it great again. Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's interesting how there aren't really Chinese programming languages. Um, yeah, that all the programming languages kind of came from all kind of like, yeah, Western. I don't know, and maybe I'll feel like differently. Like in America, it's so nice to be able to like. Maybe it's just California, but like. American cities have tons of homelessness. You don't exactly feel that safe on the streets. I think that like a lot of the crime numbers are being doctored, right? We've had a bunch of experiences with crime. Property crime, fortunately, not violent crime. But yeah, I mean, I moved out of San Francisco because I had 2 cars get broken into, and then my house got broken into. I'm just like, I'm done with this. Like, this is insanity. But no, like, it's racist to, like, put criminals in jail, or like, you people are wacko. It's not racist to put criminals in jail. The only people who say that kind of shit are criminals. I promise you, people of every race would absolutely love if the criminals, and I don't mean like dumb shit like drugs, I mean the actual like people stealing your shit. I'm pretty sure that people of every race would really like if the people stealing your shit and beating you up and mugging you were put in jail. Like, I don't know how the world got so wacko that, like, well, that's racist. You can't put people in jail because what if there's a disparate impact? What if more people of a certain race end up in jail than another person? You see, the only way that could happen is if police are racist. And because we see that happen, therefore the police must be racist. Like, this wacko. Disparate impact? I just, like, looked into what this was. This is literally, it's the Indiana Pie Bill. Right? You guys know the Indiana Pie Bill? The Indiana Pie Bill was a bill that, tried to legislate that that pi was 3.2. Just 3.2, just to make it easier for everybody, right? And like some mathematician was in the courtroom that day, and he's like, dude, you can't just make pi something else. That's not how pi works. But like, I just wish a social scientist was in the room when they enshrine things like disparate impact, like an illegitimate social scientist, right? I mean, this stuff is going to be the undoing of America, if it's not fixed, and if it's not fixed very quickly, right? It's not. But then again, like, who would argue against merit? The only people who would argue against merit are the people who want you to fail. The only people who would basically argue against merit in hiring or merit in immigration are the people who want your company or your country to fail. It makes no sense otherwise. I don't know. I'm not. There's people who fight. There's people who flee, and there's people who freeze. I'm the middle one. You find it out. You find yourself into. When you find yourself in bad situations, there's people who fight, there's people who flee, and there's people who freeze. I'm the type who flees, man. Like, and look, it's not as bad as I make it sound, like, every day on the ground, but this isn't how these things work. You have to look at kind of what's going to happen in the future. And, I mean, who fixes this? Who fixes this, and how does it get fixed? The smarter thing is to flee. Yeah, I don't know. Some people are just how you're wired, I think. You went to Langkawi Island? Oh, what do you think? It was alright. That's kind of how I felt about it. I rented a jet ski for 15 minutes on Langkawi Island, and that was about all the time I ever needed to spend on a jet ski, but I was happy I did it. Kim.com is a true believer in doomerism. I mean, look, Kim.com has been harassed and hounded by the regime. Like, I think that some of his claims are a little over the top, but I get where he's coming from. Might be helping underprivileged. No. You don't understand. Stopping crime benefits everybody. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. Nobody wants to live in a society where crime is legal. The only people who would advocate insanity like that are people who literally want your society to fail. Right? And I'm not talking about drug crime. That's not a crime, right? It's not a crime. If there's no victim, it's not a crime. I'm talking about the two kinds of crime that are real crime: property crime and violent crime. Right? Those are real crimes, and they're bad. It's not a straw man. You know. So I think it like really might be time to kind of. Should techies get into politics to reverse this insanity? It might kind of be too late, right? In some ways, I think that, like, I don't know. When I was young, I was like, the most mid-witted people go work for the government, right? And, like, now we kind of see what happened. Look, I was born in the U.S., and I may very well die there, too. But, why is reinforcement learning impossible? Well, because credit assignment is really difficult. All right, guys. Thank you for watching today's stream. We'll see how it does when it's posted to archive. If this actually helps bring good people into Tinygrad, I will keep doing the streams. If it doesn't help bringing good people into Tinygrad, then yeah, I don't know. I think I might be done. Hello. Welcome to your first day in office. You see, we are the deep state, and we have controlled this country for the last 50 years. You are able to enact any of these policies. If you, of course, step outside that, we have a lot of ways of getting to you. So I'm sorry. I understand that you thought you were running for the job of president, where you could make a change and a difference, but you were actually running for the job of deep state puppet. Yeah, I gotta go to the meeting. Thank you, everybody. Have a nice Monday or Sunday or Saturday, or I don't even know what time is anymore. What is time?